A lot of people have been asking me lately about the Federal Insurance Office and a report that it's required to issue. And this is of particular importance to people who have to deal with regulators across the United States, because the Federal Insurance Office, a part of the Dodd-Frank Act, is seen by some as an attempt to federalize insurance regulation. Dodd-Frank required that this report, an FIO report, be prepared and released no later than January 21, 2012. We're now in the middle of March 2012, and the report hasn't appeared. I just returned from the National Association of Insurance Commissioners spring meeting in New Orleans. There was a lot of discussion about the report, about what's causing the delay and what's going to be in it. For those who've been following it, you realize that former regulator, the Illinois Commissioner Mike McGrath, is heading up the FIO. For those who aren't familiar with this, the Federal Insurance Office was devised as a part of the Dodd-Frank financial reform effort, and it was specifically asked to report on ways to improve and modernize and make more efficient state regulation of insurance. And that sent chills up the spines of a lot of regulators and a lot of people who are comfortable with the current system, which is a system of state regulation. I suspect that when this report comes out, that those who were concerned about an invasion of state regulation will be reassured. I suspect that this report is not going to be a frontal assault on state regulation, and I'm quite confident that the FIO and the federal government is not going to want to step into, for example, setting auto premium rates across the country and to take all the heat that goes with that. I suspect that they are going to be happy about some inefficiencies that are inherent in state regulation. You can't have 50 states trying to do this without having some inefficiency. But I don't think that the FIO is going to be this camel's nose under the tent frontal assault on state regulation of insurance. We do a lot of work in receivership right now. We do a lot of work for runoff companies, legacy business. And we do a lot of work for and with respect to receivers. And I suspect that the receivership aspect will not be in the report either. I think that the people writing this report recognize that in this area of insurance receivership, which of course takes place outside the bankruptcy courts, is pretty much well in hand. I could be surprised. There is an NEIC white paper on alternatives to traditional receivership, and if the authors of the report were really ambitious and wanted to get into an area like that, they could write a chapter or two on how we could make state receiverships a little bit more efficient and close out of states a lot more quickly and and far less expensively. But I doubt that they've got the appetite for that kind of thing. And Mr. McGrath, the FIO guy, he has to focus on on consumer protection and cost to consumers, and I'm sure that will be in the report. But I don't believe we're going to see an invitation to have the federal government take over the task of regulating insurance companies. Stay tuned, however, because that report, when it does come out, will generate a tremendous amount of media attention, and it will cause the NEIC to respond. And I can almost guarantee you that individual state commissioners, particularly those that are elected, will fire back at the FIO report. So stay tuned, and if you have any questions when it comes out, don't hesitate to call us. Thank you.